2025 saw Blencowe Resources release an outstanding definitive feasibility study for its world-class Orom-Cross graphite mine in Uganda. So what should investors expect from the company in 2026? I'm delighted to be joined by a very busy Mike Ralston. So Mike, you achieved a lot last year. And I suppose the first question is, how confident are you that first production will be achieved this year, and on what scale?
We had, just to recap, we did have an exceptional end to last year with the drilling results, with the DFS, and we sort of swung very quickly into 2026 and all we're doing here. We've still got drill results coming out. The answer to your question about production timing is really all about funding. Obviously, at the end of the day, project funding is the necessity for getting Orom-Cross into first stage and ultimately into ramped up production. And we're working hard at it. But like all of these things, we're in the hands of the other side. The people who are putting the money in will run the process to their timetable, not to ours. And that just means we've got to work through it diligently. We've got a number of interested parties. They're working in the data room as we speak. And so, it's very difficult to say how long that process will take. I don't think we've ever said that we're going to be in production in 2026, by the way. We've talked about first quarter of 2027. Just help me out a little bit there. But make no mistake, we're the ones pushing the timetable as hard as possible every moment of every day. And, we're relentless. So we will get it done as quickly as possible. But there is a process, and if we look back at other graphite companies over the last 5 to 10 years, we can see most of them have struggled to get funding for production. So it's not an easy task, and we've got to do it properly to make sure we get the best possible outcome. So we'll get there. I can't really say when.
Okay, forgive me about the 2026 timetable. That's obviously something that's been in my head. So 2027 is something to look forward to as well. But I'm talking to you at the end of January 2026. So what's been achieved so far, and how would you describe progress operationally?
Well, we announced the DFS results in the first week of December, and that's a big milestone. We can't really start turning the work up in terms of getting funders interested without that DFS. So literally, we went straight onto the road after the London 1-to-1 conference, off to the States to go and talk to people over there. A lot of interest. But then we ran into Christmas and New Year. So people have come back, in the usual sort of 1 or 2 weeks after Christmas, after New Year. And we've picked it up from there. And I think we're making excellent progress. We've got a number of interested parties. We're not just hanging our hat on one or two. And we're going to just work through all of them in parallel. Some of them are working together. And we've just got to find ultimately who gets to, to gets to the end point and obviously makes us some offers. So, yeah, it's great progress. We're making progress on our drilling results. We're getting more drilling results all the time, and we've had some exceptional drilling results of late, and I think they'll continue. And then ultimately it's going to end up with a revised JORC resource coming out soon. So I think we've made considerable progress despite the fact that we've had a Christmas and New Year break. And I think that means that we're going to continue as we've gone on, and we'll hopefully get lots more happening in the near future.
Okay, so you're talking about drill results. Is there going to be a further drill campaign that will yield further results?
No, there's no more drilling. We did all of that. We did 7,000 meters last year. The labs that are doing the assays are pretty slow, to be blunt, and that's caused a bit of angst for us, because it meant that results that should have been out by Christmas are still winding their way through the system. But we'll get them, and they're all looking good, as I say. And we'll continue to get, I think we've still got 170 results to come out of 230 holes. So there's a vast majority of that drilling program that still has to be reported. And, from what we're seeing in the results so far, it's looking positive, and hopefully we'll be able to put out a new revised, updated JORC resource at the end of it all.
Okay, so remind us, who did you speak to in the US, and are they waiting for those assay results to come through?
No, I don't think they are. I mean, the reserves that we've got at the moment, the 23 million tonnes, is enough for the first 15 years life of mine, which is supporting the DFS results. The work that we've done with the results that we're waiting for now are probably going to be the next 10 to 15 years beyond that, once we've actually done further drilling at some future stage to infill and just get them into reserves. So we won't be putting a new drilling campaign in as yet, because we don't need any further drilling. The drilling and the tons that we've got are enough. But it does support the fact we keep saying this is a multi-decade mining operation. And, you know, when you can go out and do a drill campaign like we've done and add another 10 years or more each time, it sort of accentuates that. So the parties that are looking at funding us at the moment are in the data room, and that data room has the results that are already in there. It's not going to hurt to obviously add more. I think it just gives them more comfort. But at the end of the day, they're all looking at information that's in there at the moment, and those drill results are still coming in.
And in terms of interested parties, you are attending the Investing in African Mining Indaba conference again. In fact, I think you were a speaker there last year. What do you anticipate, or what are you anticipating from your attendance, and who are you meeting?
We've got a good range of people that we're going to meet. We go up the hill to the one-to-one conference. We find that's more productive, having a whole series of half-hour meetings with a lot of interested parties over the first 2 days, and then we get down to the Indaba for the last 2 days. We've got various family offices, funds, investors, strategic parties, potential investors, we've just got a range of different interested parties that we're going to meet. I think there's a huge buzz for this year. I think it's going to be a very interesting conference in our particular sector because of what the United States is doing with regards to critical minerals and all the momentum that's happening over there. And we are noticing a huge amount of interest, particularly from the States, but also in Europe and other Western countries as well. But I think if that spills over into the Indaba, there's going to be a really good conference, and I think a couple of excellent sort of little gems might pop out of that for us going forward.
So you talk about momentum and vibe. How would you describe the market that Orom-Cross inhabits? What's the demand for the product you'll soon be putting into production?
It's high, and it's getting higher. I think there's always been a demand for graphite, but it's been fulfilled out of China. I think the world is waking up to the fact that tap may be turned off. And so suddenly everybody's scrambling, trying to find alternative supply chains. And it's very difficult to bring mines into production quickly. As we know, they take 5 to 10 years, sometimes longer. So the fact that we're production ready, we're sort of within 12 months of being able to get into operation is proving to be a huge positive. In terms of the parties we're talking to for funding. And I think at the end of the day, Orom-Cross speaks for itself, not just the NPV and IRR and all the other huge results out of that DFS, but the quality of the end product is capturing the attention of the off-takers, the size and scale, everything about it is just crying out as unique. And the fact that we're talking about doing downstream processing that we've discussed before gives us an edge as well. So there's a good story here. We're definitely getting some support on market, which is great. And long may that continue, because I still think we're undervalued. But we are conscious of the fact that we've got to keep performing, we've got to keep adding value and ultimately move towards funding and getting this into production to really achieve the success and to showcase this asset for the world-class tier 1 project that it is.
And we look forward to hearing any news headlines that may come from the Indaba conference. Very good luck with that, Mike. Mike Ralston, Chief Executive of Blencowe Resources. Thank you very much indeed.